Hello there guys, Alex here, bringing you part 2 of What If Deku had the Archer class card. So before I continue, I want to make a quick announcement on the status of the other What Ifs. Currently recording Ghost Grants, I only have 1,000 works still. I'm sorry, I've been doing some commission work, so that one has been taking some time. And currently I'm going to have to do assets for this one as well. For the Archer Deku, I'm just recording it earlier. Also, Ed is now currently working on Cataclysm, so if you were happy about, Cataclysm, when is it gonna come out, it's already being worked on, and believe me, oh my god, I really want to kill him. Anyways, regarding that, yeah, I do appreciate a lot of you for your patience with me, tolerating my BS, and in this case, even Ed, tolerating me at my worst when I'm working. I complain a lot, to the point that I don't know how he talks to me sometimes. But in any case, yeah, I do hope you guys give me that patience, and if you can, I'll try to upload the videos as quickly as I can, or at a given time frame, just to make sure it's up to the quality I've gotten of the new videos as well. Just to see that I'm actually putting, elbow grease or, the effort into making these videos. And I do appreciate it. And currently, actually, I'm using the new mic. I don't know how it sounds, because it really picks up everything. Oh my god, it picks up everything. I haven't been able to record properly, like, without hearing the background noise. That's the thing. But regardless, before I, continue further, word from our sponsor. Beautiful Halo is an online clothing store with over a bunch of clothing and anime merch from your favorite anime series like My Hero Academia, Naruto, One Piece, Haikyuu, with designs ranging from My Hero outfits like Deku's or Bakugo's, and much more. To get a discount with them, click the link in the description and insert discount code MEME or MEMES for a 5 or 10% off on your next order. And without further ado, let's begin. When we last left off, Izuku managed to find Ayumi, only to find her crying crawled up at the base of a sakura tree. Izuku, walking up to her and tilting the umbrella so that she had some shelter from the rain, would say, "Hey, are you okay?" Ayumi crying, saying, "Go away, I don't want your help, leave me alone." Izuku saying, "But I was trying to." Ayumi saying, "Making things worse?" Izuku sadly saying, "No." Ayumi yelling, saying, "Then go away." Izuku saying, "But Mrs. Saichi was worried about you." Ayumi sobbing, saying, "Why would he be worried about me when he has you?" Izuku confused would say, "What? He cares about you." Ayumi crying, No, he doesn't. Why is it always you and never me?" Izuku confused would say, "What do you mean?" Ayumi saying, "I mean, when he first met you, a complete stranger, he said, 'You'll be my heir,' despite the fact he already had me. Now he wants to give you the family crest." This is so unfair. Not once, but twice. Izuku saying, I don't understand. And what's a family crest?" Ayumi saying, "You are so ignorant. A crest is a lot of circuits put together that have been passed down at some point of Amagus' life. He will forge some of his own magic circuits into the crest, store many, if not all, spells that he learned in life, and then pass it down to his successor. As the process repeats itself with each new generation, the older lineage is, the greater the number of circuits forming the crest, and the greater the amount of knowledge stored inside it. Normally, it's given to the firstborn, or it could be given to the descendant that has most potential." Izuku saying, I see, but why twice?" Yumi saying, "The first time was for my stupid older sister, Kaori. She inherited the Tosaka family crest, and because of her, I was sent to live here while the rest of my family went to London so that my sister can enroll at the Magus Association. And Uncle Saichi promised me that I'll inherit the Mato family crest, but then you showed up and ruined everything. I hate you for it." Izuku, feeling bad, would say, "I'm sorry for what happened to you, but I guess we're in the same boat." Ayumi, confused, would say, "What do you mean?" Izuku saying, "You see," as he started explaining his story, saying, "So because I was quirkless, they got rid of me. At this very moment, I can still visualize them doting on my sister, forgetting that I ever existed. Ayumi, grinning, would say, "So in other words, you got kicked out because you lost to a girl? That's just sad. But hey, I've seen you train, and if Uncle Saichi chose you, it means he believes in you. I too believe." As she started clearing her throat and acting tsundere, saying, "What I meant to say, you aren't a lost cause, so stop being so gloom, okay?" Izuku saying, "Hey, what is that supposed to mean?" Ayumi saying, "Just forget it." Izuku saying, "No, tell me." Ayumi chuckling, saying, "Well, I guess you'd have to catch me first," as she starts sticking her tongue at him and running away. Izuku saying, "What? Hey, come here, you." Yumi and Izuku ended up playing tag in the rain, while Saichi watched them. Once the two returned to the Mato household, Saichi greeted them, and he was relieved that the two of them weren't fighting. Saichi saying, "Good, the two of you are back. Ayumi, I apologize for what I said, but..." Ayumi saying, "It's okay, Uncle Saichi. I see what you were saying. If I assumed that I would have been the one, it must mean that there's more for me to learn." Saichi, patting Ayumi on the head, would say, "Good, it seems that you finally get it. Anyways, why don't you take a bath and into some dry clothes, while me and Izuku discuss." Ayumi nodded, and she went to take a bath, as Saichi was gesturing to Izuku to follow him in the opposite direction. When Saichi and Izuku were in a room, the old man looked at Izuku with a serious face. Saichi saying, "Izuku, what I'm about to ask you is something really important for what I was told back in the day. It was the reason of family feuds in the past." Izuku saying, "Is it because of the crests?" Ichi raising an eyebrow saying, I guess that's what you've been talking about. In any case, yes, it is indeed about the crests. I've decided to pass it on to you. Since you are my heir, you'll inherit everything that is currently in my possession. As such, the crest is no different." Izuku saying, "But why bring this up now?" Saichi frowning saying, "Because, according to my doctor, I don't have much time left." Izuku, shocked, would say, "What?" Saichi saying, "Relax, kid. I'm not going to die tomorrow. Currently I'm 69, and the doctor said something about 10 years. And if I'm lucky, 15 years. Izuku, shocked, would say, "69? You look like you're 45. Saichi's chuckling, saying, "I appreciate the compliment, but this is just good genes. But enough of that. So, will you accept the crest that is currently in my possession?" Izuku nodded. Saichi saying, "Good. Until the process will be complete, every day you will report to me, so we can start doing the ritual." Izuku saying, "Mr. Saichi, I have a question. Why didn't you give it to Ayumi?" Saichi saying, "Simple. For two reasons, actually. The first, unlike yourself, her parents left her in my care, because they moved to a different country. And once they're done, they'll be back for her. But for the second..." Saichi explains the complications of passing down the family crest to someone, and explains that he doesn't want to give it to Izuku either, and especially Ayumi, but Saichi, in order to support Izuku in his ambition, he'll pass it on to him in order to achieve his dream. Izuku saying, "I see, but couldn't they bring her along?" Saichi saying, "Kid, they went to the Magus Association HQ to enroll the eldest into the academy there. But due to odd reasons, the reasons being the family would fight over the heritage problem from the past still being in full effect in order to avoid future family feuds, saying only the parents, guardians, and the person that enrolled are allowed to live on campus, as long as they are Maguses." Izuku saying, "But she's a Magus, so why didn't she go?" Saichi, annoyed, would say, "If you would have let me finish, that question would have been answered. Ayumi's the second child, and due to those odd reasons, she wouldn't be permitted to stay there, and that's why she's here. Enough of that. If you wanted to know more about her, ask her yourself. We should get started with the ritual." Izuku saying, "Before we get started, how long does the ritual take?" Saichi saying, "The ritual can be done quickly and slowly, but I would recommend doing it slowly, because doing it in one go does have a 50-50 chance of killing you. But that is your call." Izuku, with anime tears, would say, "Let's take it slowly, please." Time skip to years ahead. And if you are wondering, yes, Ayumi's family kept in touch with her, but Ayumi tries to avoid them, for she felt betrayed by them. She also had the possibility to go and live with them, but she declined, instead choosing to live in Japan. During this time skip, Izuku became more proficient with magecraft thanks to learning projection magic, and Ayumi telling him that projection magic is useless and weak. But Izuku would find ways to prove her wrong, Sometimes afterwards, Izuku and Ayumi managed to become friends, and they often hanged out together. Mainly focusing on training with magic. Since Ayumi is proficient in fire magic, she helps Izuku with fire magic. Izuku's magic in this case is a mixture of Rin spell in the series and Izuku's finger flicks in the series, calling them Ignite, making Ochako feel like a third wheel. The time Izuku was 9, Mr. Saichi managed to fully transfer the family crest and teach him some spells that he can use freely without any incantation of sorts, but in order to do so, he'll have to let mana flow through the crest. But when Izuku was 10, everything took a bad turn when Mr. Saichi died, and all of the responsibilities went to Izuku, making him the head of the Mato household, and in charge of a certain item, leaving Izuku little to no time to hang out or socialize, which means that other than the Mato staff, only Ayumi and Ochako were his only friends, and Ochako played a big part in both Izuku and Ayumi's life, for she consoled them and giving them courage to move on. Although, mainly Izuku, while Ochako was developing feelings for him. Ochako visited more often at the Mato residence. She asked Ayumi to help her so that she could make it to UA, but she was mostly surprised for she wasn't the only one. Izuku and Ayumi wanted to go there too, and ever since then, they trained together. During one of those training sessions, Ochako found out accidentally about the Mega stuff. Izuku and Ayumi told her that if she doesn't keep quiet, someone will come and kill her, while giving her a basic explanation and why she shouldn't tell other people. Ochako being Ochako, she asked if she has any magic circuits, and luckily for her, she ended up having 10 of them, which were tied to her quirk. In this case, Ochako will be slightly more powerful, and not useless as in the anime. By the time Izuku was 12, Ochako started to make her move on Izuku, but Izuku was oblivious on her attempts to flirt, but Ayumi wasn't, and for some reason Ayumi felt angry at Ochako, and as the two girls bickered, it came out that Ayumi also had feelings for Izuku, but to keep their friendship, they decided on not to make a move until Izuku decides for himself. But Ayumi, having the advantage of living under the same roof as Izuku, she will take the advantage because she didn't want Ochako to end up with him. Sometime that spring, Ayumi finally managed to tell Izuku her feelings, and the two started to date, although none of the two had any experience, while Ochako quietly accepted and smiled for them. While she felt like she was about to crumble, the only thing she could do is support them, as a good friend should, hoping that it wouldn't work between them. For summer break, Ayumi received a letter from her family to visit them in London, like every other year, but this time, Izuku talked to her into going there, for he told Ayumi that he and her sister, as far as he can remember, they had a good relationship. Ayumi scoffed at him and reminded him that his family abandoned him, just like Ayumi's family had done with her. Izuku retorted that his parents had no interest in a weakling without a quirk, but his sister on the other hand looked up to him. Ayumi, just to drop the conversation, she agreed she would give her family one chance, and they would have a wager. If Izuku turned out to be right, she will do one thing for him, and vice versa. But what Izuku didn't expect was that he was dragged to London as well. He stayed in London during that summer break. Izuku got to know Ayumi's parents and sister. Ayumi's parents are nice people, and they were happy that Ayumi finally decided to visit, and they were even more happy once she presented Izuku as her boyfriend. But her parents' reactions took Ayumi by surprise, and the one that was shocked was Kaori, but she was still very happy for her little sister. Izuku learned more about the Magus Association, and he was told the responsibilities of having a class card in his possession, with its dangers, and he was given the choice to either protect it or give it to the Magus Association. Everything in the end turned out well, which meant that Ayumi lost the bet. Ayumi was afraid on what Izuku might ask her to do, but he revealed to her that he wanted her company the next year so that he could personally deliver the class card, for he wanted nothing to do with it, and since it was part of the bet, it meant that Ayumi had no choice but to go with him. But she was happy, and she suggested that the two should have more of an adventure outside of Japan next time. Following summer, Izuku's 13. His relationship with Ayumi was better than ever. They managed to get to first, and at times they were getting into second base, exploring the realms of possibility. during the last week before summer break, the teacher going over summer homework and the usual crap about school, and then he demanded an essay on what they did during summer break. Ayumi, with her ego and confidence through the roof, would say, "Don't worry, Teach, me and Izuku are going on a trip to London and spending it with family, so we would have plenty of time for what you ask of us. But we'll be back on September the 3rd, because on our way back, we'll be stopping by Paris, the city of love." With some of their classmates stirring up some commotion over the lovey-dovey couple of the class. The teacher, facepalming, would say, "Miss Tosaka, since this is a small town, there are no rules on relationships, but keep in mind the two of you are still 13. Concerning the two of you are going to London and France, I also want you to write me a journal of sorts about the art and history about the two countries." Ayumi, complaining, would say, "But Sensei, why?" The teacher saying, "You are bragging, which is no good, and also for the fact you are going in person, so you'll get to see monuments firsthand." Some guys were making fun of her for getting extra work. Needless to say, those guys also got extra work. Time skip to the date of departure, July the 2nd. It was sometime later in the afternoon, around sunset. The two got ready with their luggage in their hands. The box containing the class card was in Ayumi's purse. They entered in one of the cars headed towards the airport as the driver spoke up. Driver saying, "Young master, Mr. Osaka, I think you'll be needing these," giving them a pair of umbrellas. "It seems that the weather won't hold and it'll probably start to pour." Izuku saying, "Thanks." Ayumi saying, "No worries, it'll probably hold until we get to the airport, and besides, even if it starts to rain, a little water never hurt anyone." The driver saying, "Very well, Mr. Osaka, young master, we should get going." Along the way, they held hands as Ayumi was leaning on Izuku while they discussed about their plans once they arrive in London, and planning for once they arrive in France, as Ayumi proposes to go in third base, there if not, a home run. Izuku was blushing frantically. Izuku blushing, saying, "Ayumi, we don't need to go all the way yet. We're so young. Isn't it best if we did that after we're married?" Ayumi, somewhat annoyed, would say, "Party pooper, I had a great idea. When we become 18, let's get married, so we can do it then." Izuku, blushing and stuttering, would say, "Ayumi, are you serious?" Ayumi, teasing him, would say, "Huh? What? Still no good? We can get married next year if you want, but we might need a parent or a guardian to be present while we do the paperwork." Izuku, blushing so hard that his head was steaming, would say, "Ayumi, we could cross that bridge once we get there. It's too soon to be considering marriage." Yumi, smirking, would say, "I know, I was just teasing. I wanted to see the face you made." And I must say, it was priceless. Izuku, being somewhat embarrassed and shy, would say, "But once we become adults, successful heroes, and once everything else is taken care of, let's do it. Let's get married." Ayumi, caught off guard and blushing, would say, That caught me by surprise, but I must say, for someone like you, I'm totally surprised that you can come up with a proposal like that." Izuku, flustered, would say, "Ayumi, I'm being serious." Ayumi, playing it off, would say, Yeah, but jokes aside, my answer to you will be, I do. Besides, we still have time, and not only that, it'll only be 1 year away until we enroll in UA. I can't wait." Izuku saying, "Me too, and I'll look forward for when that day will come, and I can tell that you will look good no matter what you'll wear." As the two joked around, the car that they were traveling in abruptly stopped, making the two end up in an awkward position. The driver, panicking, saying, "You two, there's a villain attack up ahead, so you should put your seatbelts on. It's going to be a bumpy ride." Ayumi smirked at Izuku regarding the bumpy ride part, trying to get a reaction out of him, only for her to realize that it was the wrong place and wrong time. Izuku saying, "Ayumi, aren't you worried in the slightest?" Ayumi saying, "Nah, nothing can ruin my mood today. Heroes will take care of the villain. It's not like they're after us or anything. We'll be fine." Ayumi was proven wrong when another villain was attacking the area they were headed, so the driver made another turn, but then they crashed the car into something, and then the car was flung away, crashing into a building and landing upside down. Ayumi was temporarily knocked out, while the driver was dead for the many shards of glass that pierce his face, but mainly for the big shard of glass piercing his throat as his blood dripped. Izuku still okay, although his head was bleeding. He knew he had to get himself and Ayumi out of there and get to safety, and keeping the class card safe too, which was in Ayumi's purse, which caused Ayumi to slowly wake up in a daze. Ayumi, confused and looking around, would say, "What's going on?" as she spotted Izuku, saying, "Izuku, are you okay?" Izuku saying, "Yeah, barely." Ayumi saying, Where are the villains? Did the heroes arrive?" Izuku saying, "I don't know. I was kind of focusing on getting you to safety." After a while of roaming around, they were found by the villains, but the events could barely be registered by Izuku. The only thing he saw was a light pole being swung around, then Ayumi on the opposite side from him, not moving, while he was sent to a wall of a nearby building. Izuku being worried about her safety, he tried his best to get to her, which he was stopped in his tracks by 2 attacks aiming for him, but they were deflected and making some cover for Izuku. As the 2 villains bickered among themselves for who got the kill, giving Izuku enough time to get to Ayumi, only to find her worse for wear. She was battered up as she groaned in pain. Izuku silently speaking to Ayumi as he shook her gently from her shoulder, saying, "Ayumi, speak to me. Ayumi?" Ayumi, groaning in pain, would say, "Ouch. Be more careful. It hurts." Izuku saying, "Sorry, but now it's time for us to go. They are arguing among themselves. Can you run, or should I carry you?" Ayumi, looking at him a bit annoyed, would say, "What do you think, genius? Of course I can run. Anyways, let's get a move on." But before they could have the chance to flee, a truck landed in front of them, consequently stopping them in their tracks. As a female villain would say, "Hand it over. I know you have it in your possession." Izuku, visibly confused, would say, "What are you talking about?" The villain brute would say, "The cards. Boss says that you have one of those cards." Izuku, pretending to be oblivious, would say, "What do you mean? What cards?" The villain brute would say, "Don't try to hide it. The boss told me about your kind." The female villain would say, "Now I guess we have to repeat ourselves. Hand it over or else." Ayumi, taking the lead as she nodded to Izuku, saying, "Guess again, bitch. If your informers told you that we had it, they misinformed you. We got rid of it years ago because we already knew it would have brought nothing but trouble." The female villain saying, "What?" as she started mumbling to herself. And the villain brute would say, "Not to interrupt you, but they're getting away." The female villain would say, "Why are you standing around there for? Kill them!" The brute picked up some rubble and launched them towards Izuku and Ayumi. Izuku and Ayumi were dodging them as they ran. Ayumi, being slightly more injured than Izuku, she trips and loses her footing. And when the brute launched more rubble, one of them managed to hit Ayumi, sending her flying into a car, while the purse she had flew upwards due to the previous barrage of rubble flying. That car ended up having pointed edges. As her body hit the car, she was impaled in her stomach from behind with the broken parts of the driver's door. Izuku turned his head to see what was going on, but his face expression showed pure horror once he saw what happened to Ayumi. He rushed by her side, inspecting the damage, taking off his shirt as he tried to stop the bleeding and hoping for the best. Izuku, with watery eyes, would say, "Ayumi! Ayumi! Please stay with me! Open your eyes!" Yumi, managing to keep one eye open as the other was semi-open, would say, My purse. Izuku, on the verge of tears, would say, "Shh, don't speak. Save your energy. We need to get you to the hospital ASAP. You'll be fine. I know you can make it, because we can make it out of this. And one piece, then we can go on our trip and have fun and do all sorts of stuff. Just me and you. So please, whatever you do, don't close your eyes." Ayumi, smiling with tears in her eyes, would say, "You know," as she, managing to place her hand on Izuku's cheeks, would say, "I never apologized, nor thank you. Back when we were kids. Now, did I?" Izuku, holding onto Ayumi's hand, would say, "Don't say it." Ayumi, with tears overflowing, would say, "I never apologized to my parents, nor my sister, for the way I ignored them for all those years." Izuku, with tears falling down his cheeks, would say, "Please, don't say it. You'll pull through. Just hang in there." Ayumi, slowly shaking her head, would say, "I'm sorry, Izu. I'm sorry that you had to deal with my childish personality. I'm sorry that I was a brat. I'm sorry for all I have done to you." Izuku, tearing up even more, would say, "It will not end like this. Help will arrive at any moment. Just please, hang in there. I can't lose you too. I won't be able to handle it." Ayumi, tearing up even more, "Izu, I want you to tell my parents and sister that I'm sorry, and also thank them on my behalf. Because if it wasn't for my sister wanting to go to England, my parents wouldn't have left me in Uncle Saichi's care, and consequently, we wouldn't have met." Izuku saying, "No, like I said, help is on its way. Just hang in there." Ayumi, slowly closing her eyes, would say, "Izu, could you hug me? I feel cold." Izuku saying, "Ayumi, keep your eyes open. Ayumi, please keep them." Ayumi, trying her best to keep her eyes open, would say, "Izu, thank you for the time we spent together. The good times, the bad times, all those times. Thank you for helping me with my parents and my sister. I just wish I could have met yours." Izuku saying, "Of course, you'll meet her. All you have to do is hang in there." Ayumi, closing her eyes with whatever strength she had left, she gave Izuku her last big smile, saying, "Izu, I love you. I'm glad and grateful that we met. And with her last breath, let's meet again, okay?" With those words leaving her mouth, the hand that was on Izuku's cheek fell limp. Izuku tried to wake her up, but he couldn't. Ayumi indeed had died. And Izuku couldn't hold his sorrow as he cried out to the heavens above. As if on cue, it started to rain. The villains, in the meantime, were searching through Izuku and Ayumi's belongings back at their upside-down car, and eventually they managed to find the box containing the class card. The villain brute would say, "I found it," as he started to inspect the card, saying, "So, this is it?" The female villain, irritated, would say, No, it can't be. It's just a goddamn fake." The woman made her way to Izuku. She grabs him by the neck, demanding answers while shoving the card to Izuku's face. But it was pointless because Izuku didn't respond at all. As the female villain would say, "This is so pointless. You're useless as that card of yours. You've wasted my time," dropping Izuku and the card to the ground as she turns away and starts to argue with the brute. Izuku, upon hearing the word useless, a flash of memory comes through his mind as he hears the word deku. Katsuki saying, "Hey look, you can read the last part of Izuku's name as deku. It must be what you call a hopeless loser that is completely useless." Izuku's inner monologue would say, "I guess Katsuki was right. I am useless. I should be called deku." But once again, he hears another voice, Saichi saying, "I'm sorry to say that people nowadays are interested in the powerful, thus getting rid of the weak. What sacrifices are you willing to make in order to make your ambition a reality?" Izuku's inner monologue would say, "I guess I've failed you, Gramps. I've failed." Saichi's words pierced Izuku's mind once more, saying, "I'll elaborate. In this world we have 4 kinds of people. That said, my question is, what kind of person are you?" Izuku, hearing those words, he was reminded on the first motivational speech Ayumi gave him all those years ago, saying, "I've seen you train, and if Uncle Saichi chose you, it means he believes in you. You aren't a lost cause, so stop being so gloom, okay?" Upon hearing those words from the past, even he was depressed for the death of his beloved, but that didn't stop him from smiling to himself as newfound determination filled his thoughts and guided him to push forward. Snapping back to reality, he looked around to see what was going on. The 2 villains were bickering on what to do, and right beside him was the archer card. Izuku picked it up, then suddenly he was enveloped in some sort of light, which caught the villain's attention, and once the light was gone, Izuku was wearing a new set of clothes, confusing the villains. Izuku, with his eyes glowing green, with an intimidating aura, would say, "I'm coming for you." Those 5 words made chills go down the brute's spine, and after the 2 villains were dealt with, the brute died, while the female was barely conscious. The female villain, on the verge of dying, would say, "Tell me, that is surely a fake. How did you? Most importantly, who are you?" Izuku saying, "Me? I'm a hero. A hero of justice." Female villain, "That sounds like bullshit to me. A hero of justice, my ass. You're no different than us." Izuku saying, "That's where you're wrong. You took someone very important to me. I simply returned the favor. As an old saying goes, an eye for an eye, and that's all there is to it. So don't compare me to you villains." Izuku walked away as the woman cursed him with her last breath. Then the clothes Izuku was wearing disappeared, the same way they appeared. Izuku returned to Ayumi's corpse to embrace it one last time, as he fell unconscious due to fatigue. A few days later, Izuku woke up only to find himself in a hospital room. He started to get up, and some medical equipment detached from Izuku's body, which caused them to alert the doctors and nurses. One of the nurses arrived in Izuku's room, telling him to calm down. Izuku, not recalling the events of the night, barely able to speak, he asked about Ayumi and where she was. But the doctor walked in, asking Izuku to calm down. Once Izuku was calm enough, the doctor spoke up. As the doctor would say, "Mr. Mato, I'm sorry to inform you that the girl you are referring to was already dead when the pro-hero found you. In a matter of facts, you were the only one that survived, although barely. You lost a lot of blood. We tried to get in contact with her parents, but..." Izuku, recalling the events that transpired that night, with a face that showed no emotions and a monotone voice, would say, "I see. Her parents live in London, and their number should be on my phone." The doctor would say, "All right, give me the number and we'll deliver the news." Izuku saying, "No, I'll do it. You've done enough, so could you give me some privacy?" The doctor saying, "Sure, if you need anything, just press that button." Izuku saying, "Oh, doctor, one more thing." The doctor saying, "Sure, what is it?" Izuku saying, "Who was this so-called pro-hero?" The doctor saying, "Oh, he's waiting outside. It's the pro-hero." And to be continued. So in this case, guys, I hope you enjoy this part. Really do hope that you guys enjoy the effort I did for this video. Me and Ed both are trying to work our hardest. In this case, him on the script, me on the editing and the voiceover, which can be sometimes pretty grueling. And also, I want to thank our, the people who are supporting me, with the channel. It's much appreciated. I was able to buy some, equipment and stuff. In this case, paid these people for Patreon, my Patreon supporters. It's much appreciated that you're enjoying what I have been doing and, what I've been able to manage to do in this time frame. Thank you for your patience. In this case, we have 9 Patreon members at the moment, and here are the ones that I'm going to list. Will Finister, Joseph Thomas, Mitchell, Cameron Doyle, Pink Saber, John Miller, Supreme Spider-Man 578, Derek Hawkins, and Asa Bell. So in this case, shout out to them. They've been helping the channel out, and I truly appreciate you for your support. I really might not really consider YouTube as much if it wasn't for this case, because a man's gotta pay his bills as well, so I have to take that account, and I can't just be relying on my parents to do that. So in any case, I really again hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you have a good day or good night. And also, most likely, it could be Recovery Girl's Grandson, or What If Deku Had Cataclysm as the next part. I'm sorry if I didn't upload Recovery Girl's Grandson. It's just that I'm writing it, and yet I'm having issues trying to write it, distracted, doing other stuff. It's pretty difficult.
And transport wise, I'm standing up most of the time, so it doesn't allow me to write like properly. So yeah, it's just gonna be a mess. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and again, have a good day or good night.